The unbreakable frontier. For 8 centuries, the Korvax Dominion had been the undisputed power of the Orion Arm. Their biomechanical warships blotted out stars as they passed, each one a living fortress bred for conquest. Their soldiers, standing 3 meters tall with carapaces harder than titanium, had crushed 100 species beneath their clawed feet. The Dominion didn't negotiate. They didn't compromise. They consumed. And then they found humanity. Earth had only established a dozen colonies beyond the solar system, fragile outposts clinging to terraformed worlds and orbital habitats. Nothing that would concern an interstellar empire. The farthest human settlement, Nova Haven in the Proxima Eridani system, was still celebrating its 15th anniversary when the first Korvax scout ships appeared at the edge of their sensors. Unidentified vessels approaching, reported Communications Officer Reyes, her voice steady despite the sweat beading on her forehead. 3 ships. Configuration unknown. Station Commander Abrams leaned forward in his chair. Hail them. No response, sir. They're not broadcasting on any known frequency. Nova Haven wasn't a military installation, just a research station and farming colony with a population of 8,000. They had a small security force, a few outdated defense satellites. Nothing prepared them for what came next. The Korvax ships accelerated suddenly, their hulls shifting like liquid metal as weapon ports opened along their flanks. There was no declaration, no demand for surrender. Just death raining from the sky. Nova Haven managed to transmit one emergency beacon before it fell silent. 3 days later, at Earth Central Command, Admiral William Hayes stared at the holographic display showing the remains of the colony. His weathered face remained impassive, but his fists clenched behind his back. "We've lost contact with 2 more outlying colonies," reported his aide. "Cato Station and New Anchorage." "And the Defiance?" Hayes asked. "Captain Chen reports they're en route to the Eridani system now, sir." Hayes nodded. If anyone could make sense of this nightmare, it was Maya Chen. The UNSC Defiance wasn't the largest ship in Earth's fleet, nor the most advanced. Once a colony transport, it had been retrofitted as a long-range patrol vessel with enhanced sensors and reasonable firepower. But its true strength was its captain. On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Maya Chen studied the tactical display with sharp, analytical eyes. At 42, she had the lean build of someone who spent more time on duty than at meals. Her black hair was streaked with premature silver, a memento from the Mars crisis years earlier. "Sensor sweep complete, Captain," reported her XO, Commander Jackson Davis. "No survivors detected on Nova Haven." Maya's jaw tightened. Life signs on the attacking vessels. "Difficult to read, ma'am. Their hulls have properties we've never encountered before, but they're definitely alive, in some sense. Biosigns indicate a fusion of organic and technological components. Like the ships themselves are alive," murmured Maya. "Something like that. And they're massive. The largest one is 3 kilometers long." Before Maya could respond, Lieutenant Sarah Wong called from communications. "Captain, we're picking up distress calls from Helios Station. They're under attack." Maya's decision was instant. Set course for Helios. Maximum burn. "That'll put us right in the path of those hostiles," warned Davis. Maya's dark eyes flashed. "Those are our people, Commander. We're going." The Defiance arrived at Helios Station 17 hours later, emerging from FTL to find a scene of devastation. The station's outer rings were shattered, debris spinning slowly in the void. 3 Korvax vessels, smaller than those that had attacked Nova Haven but still formidable, were methodically dismantling the station's remaining defenses. "Weapons hot," ordered Maya. "Target the nearest hostile ship. Communications, broadcast on all frequencies. This is Captain Maya Chen of the UNSC Defiance. Cease your attack immediately." The Korvax responded by launching a swarm of projectiles toward the Defiance. "Evasive maneuvers," Maya shouted as the ship lurched sideways, narrowly avoiding the first wave. "Return fire, all batteries." The Defiance wasn't built for prolonged combat, but Maya had insisted on tactical upgrades most patrol ships lacked. Railgun fire streaked across space, impacting the lead Korvax vessel's forward section. For a moment, the alien ship's hull seemed to absorb the attack, then suddenly buckled as the kinetic energy transferred through its biomechanical structure. Their hulls are resilient but not invulnerable, observed Davis. Concentrated fire seems effective. Focus everything on that damaged section, Maya ordered. The battle raged for 23 minutes. The Defiance suffered significant damage to its port nacelle and forward armor, but Maya's unorthodox tactics, rapid changes in velocity and trajectory that no eye could predict, kept them in the fight. One Korvax vessel was disabled, another retreated, but the station was beyond saving. "Captain," called Wong from communications, "I'm picking up survivors in the station's emergency pods. Begin recovery operations," Maya ordered, then turned to Davis. "What do we know about these attackers?" "Not much. They're calling themselves the Korvax Dominion, according to the data we recovered from Helios computers. They've been systematically targeting our outlying colonies for the past 72 hours. Maya's face hardened. This isn't random. It's coordinated, a prelude to invasion. The Defiance managed to rescue 347 survivors from Helios Station. From them, Maya learned that the Korvax had broadcast a single message before the attack. "Resistance is inefficient. Your resources will serve the Dominion." While the medical team treated the survivors, Maya sent the Defiance deeper into the contested region, staying just beyond the range of Korvax sensors. What they discovered chilled her to the core. "It's an invasion fleet," Maya told Admiral Hayes via quantum entanglement communicator. "At least 30 capital ships, hundreds of smaller vessels. They're massing at these coordinates." The hologram between them displayed a star chart with a glowing red cluster. Hayes studied it grimly. "That's 3 days from Earth at their apparent FTL capability. We need to evacuate the remaining colonies and prepare Earth's defenses," Maya said. "Evacuation is already underway. But our intelligence suggests the Korvax have faster-than-light detection capabilities we don't understand. They're intercepting evacuation ships." Maya leaned forward. "Sir, there may be another option. If we can delay their main fleet, give our people time to regroup." "You're talking about a suicide mission, Captain." "I'm talking about buying humanity time. The Defiance is still operational, and I've noticed something about the Korvax attacks. They're methodical, almost ritualistic. They're not used to resistance. When we damaged one of their ships at Helios, the others became disorganized." Admiral Hayes was silent for a long moment. "What are you proposing?" "A direct strike at their command structure. Our analysis suggests their fleet operates on a hierarchical network. If we can disrupt it, even temporarily." Hayes closed his eyes briefly. "You understand what you're asking for?" Maya's voice was steady. "I do, sir. My crew does too. We've discussed it." 20 hours later, the Defiance approached the Korvax fleet, its signature masked by a daring approach through the radioactive debris field of a shattered moon. Maya had modified their shields to emit a dispersal pattern that mimicked natural radiation spikes. "Target acquired," reported Weapons Officer Kazuo Tanaka. "Their command vessel is in range." On the bridge, Maya stood before her crew. "I won't lie to you. The odds aren't good. But every minute we keep them focused on us is another minute for our people to prepare, another evacuation ship that makes it to safety." She looked at each of them in turn. "It has been my greatest honor to serve with you." Commander Davis straightened in his chair. "The honor is ours, Captain." Maya nodded once, then resumed her seat. "Initiate attack plan Alpha. All power to forward shields and main weapons. Let's show these bastards that humanity doesn't go quietly." The Defiance erupted from the debris field like a phantom, all weapons blazing. Its opening salvo, every missile in its arsenal launched simultaneously, struck the Korvax command ship before its defenses could respond. The massive alien vessel shuddered under the impact, its biomechanical hull rippling as energy cascaded across its surface. The Korvax fleet reacted with surprising confusion. Clearly, they had never experienced such a direct assault on their command structure. But the moment of disarray didn't last long. Within minutes, Korvax vessels were converging on the Defiance from all directions. Evasive pattern Delta, ordered Maya, as plasma bolts streaked past the viewports. Route auxiliary power to the engines. We need to stay mobile. For 47 minutes, the Defiance danced through the Korvax formation, striking when possible, retreating when necessary. 3 smaller Korvax ships were crippled by the human vessel's desperate attacks. But the Defiance paid a heavy price. Hull breaches on decks 3 through 7, life support failing on the lower levels, weapon systems operating at 30% capacity. "Captain," called Davis over the screaming of damaged systems, "we've lost the starboard engine. Maneuvering thrusters at minimal power." Maya gripped her chair as another impact rocked the ship. Status of the Korvax command vessel. Damaged but operational. Their fleet coordination is still disrupted. They're not pursuing escaping human ships anymore. They're focused entirely on us. A grim smile touched Maya's lips. "Then we're doing our job." She tapped her console. "All hands, this is the captain. Prepare for Emergency Protocol Omega." Emergency Protocol Omega was a last resort measure, overloading the Defiance's fusion core to create a devastating explosion. But before Maya could give the final order, Lieutenant Wong called out from communications. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple FTL signatures approaching. They're ours. Earth Defense Fleet." On the main view screen, space seemed to fold as 12 Earth warships emerged from FTL, weapons already firing. The UNSC Indomitable, Earth's newest dreadnought, led the formation, its massive railguns tearing into the nearest Korvax vessels. Admiral Hayes' voice came through the comms. "Defiance, this is Hayes. Your distraction worked. You gave us time to assemble a response fleet. Fall back now. That's an order." As the Defiance limped away from the battlefield, Maya watched the Earth fleet engage the Korvax. For the first time since the invasion began, she allowed herself to feel something like hope. The Korvax had crushed countless civilizations before, but they had never met humanity. And humanity was just getting started. The turning tide. The medical bay of the UNSC Indomitable was crowded with the wounded from the Defiance. Captain Maya Chen sat on an examination table, ignoring the medic's attempts to treat the gash across her forehead as she reviewed battle footage on her tablet. "Captain, please," the exasperated doctor said. "You have 3 cracked ribs and a concussion." "And a fleet to stop," Maya replied without looking up. "How many of my crew made it?" The doctor's expression softened. 78%. "We're still treating the critical cases." Maya closed her eyes briefly, absorbing the loss. 22%. 46 people who had trusted her command. She would remember each name. Admiral Hayes entered the medical bay, his uniform bearing the marks of recent combat. "Your Defiance crew did the impossible, Captain. The data you gathered on Korvax ship vulnerabilities has already been distributed throughout the fleet. It won't be enough," Maya said, setting down her tablet. "Their ships are partly biological. They adapt. The same tactics won't work twice." Hayes nodded grimly. "That's why Earth Defense Command is promoting you to Commodore, effective immediately. You've proven you can think like them, anticipate them. We need that now more than ever." Maya started to protest, but Hayes raised a hand. "This isn't a reward, Chen. It's necessity. I'm giving you tactical command of our counteroffensive. You have 6 hours to recover, then I need you on the bridge." After Hayes left, Commander Davis approached her bed, his arm in a sling. "Congratulations on the promotion, Mom." Maya gave him a tired smile. "Some promotion. Leading what might be humanity's last stand." "Not if the rumors are true," Davis said, lowering his voice. "They say we captured something from one of the disabled Korvax ships, or someone." Maya's eyes sharpened. Show me. 6 decks below, in a heavily secured laboratory, Maya stood before a containment chamber housing what appeared to be a Korvax. The alien was taller than a human but slumped in apparent exhaustion or injury. Its exoskeleton was a deep iridescent blue, with neural filaments pulsing beneath translucent sections. It was recovered from one of the scout ships disabled by the Defiance, explained Dr. Eliza Novak, the xenobiology lead. It's been communicating in its way. Its way. Neural interface. Direct mind-to-computer connection. We've adapted one of our systems to translate. It calls itself Vexar, and it claims to be a dissident. Maya studied the alien carefully. A defector. More complex than that. The Korvax operate on a collective neural network, a shared consciousness. Vexar says it's part of a minority subset that believes the Dominion's expansion strategy is flawed, that annihilating other sentient species ultimately weakens rather than strengthens them. And we should trust this why. Dr. Novak gestured to a nearby display showing complex equations. Because it's given us this, the resonance frequency that disrupts their ship's regenerative capabilities. We've confirmed it matches our battlefield observations. Within the hour, Maya had a secure neural interface established with Vexar, the alien's thoughts translated into English text on her display. Your ruiz as st unexpected, Vexar communicated. Dominion protocols assumuni immediate surrender of PRE intiers DELAR species. We're full of surprises, Maya replied dryly. Obdizurvd. Tactical approach of your vessel DEFIANCE. Indiciakes AD intelligence outside KORVX PRBABLITY modals. Why are you helping us? Dominion expansion unsustainable. QURENT DIRETTI. ECOMNTURADICTs. Original KORVX purpose. Assimilation. Should preserve, not destroy. Maya leaned forward. Tell me how to defeat your fleet. Defeat impossible with CURENT human technology. Then tell me how to survive. There was a pause, the neural interface flickering as Vexar considered. KORVX commandi structure HIURRCHI. AL. Disruptive QUANTUM ENTANGLE MENT network between ships. Temporary ADVANTAGE PIGOSIBL. Over the next 3 days, as the Earth Defense Fleet regrouped and prepared for the Korvax advance, Maya worked with Vexar and a team of Earth's best scientists to develop a strategy. The Korvax dissident provided crucial insights into the Dominion's tactics and vulnerabilities, though Maya remained cautious, never fully trusting their unexpected ally. Their network relies on quantum entanglement, Maya explained to the assembled fleet commanders, pointing to a holographic display of the Korvax formation. But it has a weakness. Their biological components require regular synchronization bursts. If we can disrupt those bursts with precisely timed EMP pulses, we can temporarily fragment their collective consciousness. For how long? Asked Captain Hernandez of the UNSC Valiant. Minutes at most, Maya admitted. But in those minutes, they'll be operating as individuals, not a collective. Their coordination will falter. Minutes aren't much, said another commander. It's all we need, Maya countered, if we hit them simultaneously from multiple vectors. The Korvax excel at facing united opposition. They evolved countering single-species threats. But a diversified, multi-pronged attack doesn't fit their tactical models. The plan was audacious. While Earth's major warships would engage the Korvax fleet head-on, smaller strike teams would target the fleet's communication nodes identified by Vexar. Meanwhile, a coalition of civilian ships, mining vessels, transports, even privately owned yachts, would execute harassment maneuvers designed to confuse Korvax targeting systems. This isn't a conventional military strategy, Maya acknowledged as the meeting concluded, because we're not fighting a conventional enemy. The Korvax expect us to behave like every other species they've conquered, to fight according to predictable patterns of self-preservation. Instead, we're going to show them what makes humans different: our unpredictability, our adaptability, and our absolute refusal to surrender. The battle began at 600 Earth Standard Time, in the orbit of Europa. The Korvax fleet, 37 capital ships strong, approached in their standard formation, a geometric pattern designed to maximize coverage of their devastating weapons. They expected humanity's last stand to follow familiar patterns. They were wrong. As the Korvax entered optimal firing range, they found not a defensive line of Earth vessels, but a scattered, seemingly disorganized collection of ships moving in patterns that defied tactical logic. Before the Korvax collective could analyze and respond, Maya gave the order. Execute Thunderbolt Protocol. Throughout the solar system, hidden transmitters activated, flooding space with precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulses. The effect on the Korvax fleet was immediate and devastating. Ships that had moved in perfect unison suddenly faltered, their movements becoming erratic as their collective consciousness fragmented. All ships, commence attack, Maya ordered from the bridge of the Indomitable. Remember your assigned targets and vectors. Strike hard and keep moving. Earth's fleet surged forward, concentrating fire on the vulnerabilities Vexar had identified. Mining ships deployed industrial cutting lasers against Korvax hull sections. Civilian vessels executed complex, evasive patterns that confused Korvax targeting systems designed to predict military maneuvers. In the chaos, Maya directed the Special Strike Team toward the Korvax command vessel. Led by Commander Davis in a retrofitted stealth shuttle, their mission was to deploy the ultimate disruption device, a quantum field generator developed based on Vexar's specifications, designed to permanently sever the command ship's connection to the fleet. Strike Team in position, Davis reported, his voice tense but controlled. Preparing to breach outer hull. Proceed, Commander, Maya replied. You have 4 minutes before their systems adapt to our EMP. On the view screen, Maya watched as Earth's forces pressed their advantage. Human ships darted between massive Korvax vessels, exploiting the temporary confusion to inflict maximum damage. But the advantage was already fading. The Korvax were adapting, their ships beginning to coordinate again. Strike Team has breached the command vessel, reported Davis. Encountering resistance. Heavy resistance. Maya tightened her grip on the armrest of her chair. Hold position. Indomitable. Divert all available power to forward shields. We need to draw their fire away from the Strike Team. The massive Earth dreadnought surged forward, placing itself directly in the line of fire of 3 Korvax capital ships. Impact after impact hammered the Indomitable's shields, pushing them to critical levels. Shield failure imminent, reported the tactical officer. Hold position, Maya ordered, her voice steady despite the ship shuddering around her. Commodore, called the communications officer, incoming transmission from Commander Davis. Davis's face appeared on screen, bloody but determined. Behind him, Maya could see the alien architecture of the Korvax command center and the bodies of his team members. Devices planted, ma'am. Activation in 30 seconds. Get out of there, Commander. Davis gave a small, sad smile. No extraction possible, Commodore. It's been an honor. The transmission cut out. Maya allowed herself one deep breath. Then, all ships, fall back. Maximum burn. Now. The quantum disruption, when it came, was visible across the entire battlefield. A pulse of blue-white energy expanding outward from the Korvax command ship. Throughout the enemy fleet, ships suddenly went dark, their biological components severed from the controlling intelligence. Not destroyed, but disabled. Disconnected. In the silence that followed, Maya stood from her chair and addressed the bridge crew. Begin recovery operations, and hail the remaining Korvax vessels. Hail them, ma'am, questioned her XO. Yes. Now we negotiate. 3 days later, Maya sat across from a Korvax representative, not Vexar, but a higher-ranking member of what they now understood to be a faction within the Dominion that had long sought peaceful coexistence rather than conquest. Without their central command structure, the individual Korvax ships had defaulted to autonomous operation, allowing these dissidents to finally express their perspective. "Your species has demonstrated unexpected adaptation," stated the Korvax representative, its voice translated through a neural interface. "This quality was not accounted for in Dominion expansion protocols. Humanity has a long history of being underestimated," Maya replied. "We prefer cooperation, but we will fight when necessary." This concept requires further analysis. The Dominion has not encountered successful resistance in 742 stellar cycles. Maya leaned forward. "Then perhaps it's time for the Dominion to evolve, just as you forced us to evolve. There's room in this galaxy for both our species, but only if we choose a different path forward." As negotiations continued in the days that followed, reports arrived from across human space. The colonies that had been attacked were beginning reconstruction. Earth's unified defense had sparked a new era of cooperation among previously fractious human factions. And the Defiance, though severely damaged, was being rebuilt, a symbol of humanity's resistance and resilience. In her quarters aboard the Indomitable, Maya stood at the viewport, watching Earth rotate slowly below. On her desk sat the casualty reports, names and faces she would carry with her always. But beside them lay the preliminary draft of a peace treaty with the Korvax reformist faction. Commander Davis had been right in those final moments. It had been an honor, not just to serve, but to witness humanity standing united against impossible odds. To see not just the military response, but civilian ships, scientists, engineers, and even a Korvax dissident, all contributing to survival. The Korvax Dominion had crushed countless civilizations in their relentless expansion, but they had never encountered humanity before. They had never faced a species so stubborn, so adaptive, so unwilling to accept defeat. And now, perhaps, they never would again. Maya touched the viewport glass lightly, watching as the first diplomatic shuttles departed for the neutral meeting ground where humans and Korvax would shape a new future, not as conquerors and conquered, but as equals under the stars.